Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Banter. When there's three people on this set, this mic stand just because it wants to live over here, and when it lives over here, it just
makes sense.
It wants to be
You
down
can
there.
live
You're
on
putting a $500 mic on a $20 stand.
It's 28.
Oh,
I think.
Was it 28? It was maybe 28 for two of
There
them.
we go. How about that? You know what? She's lasted us years and years.
It's true.
You can also live over here if you want.
I'm good right here. I'm happy.
Oh.
I'm happy. You know what else makes you happy?
What?
Our sponsor of today's episode. What's up, fellas? Valentine's Day's knocking, and Manscaped's a remedy for what the love doctor ordered. His prescription? The all-new Performance Package 5.0 Ultra, designed to elevate your grooming game and make you shine like the heartthrob that you are. So join the 10 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with our exclusive offer. Go to manscaped.com and snag 20% off and free shipping with the code BANTER20. We've told you all about the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra, the skin-safe technology, the LED light, and all of that, but that's not everything that comes with this. This package also features the Weed Whacker 2.0 nose and hair trimmer, Manscaped's liquid formulations, and 2 free goodies, the Shed Travel Bag and Boxers 2.0, because comfort is king for all my dogs. Don't know what that even means. Anyways, get 20% off and free shipping with code BANTER20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com using code BANTER20.
Wow.
all the dogs, all the boys.
Woof.
Woof, woof.
We them dogs.
Holla.
How are you doing, Robbie?
I'm doing great.
Robbie's here.
I had to experience the joy of, in Birmingham, Alabama, I think I've had to defrost the windows on my car. In 14 years of living there, I feel like I've done it 10 times.
Okay.
Wow.
And this morning, I went to defrost the car, and I remember defrosting a car for one of the first times and being like, "Oh, it's fine. I can see like a little window," and I was good. And then I drove, and then the sun hit it, and I felt like I was going to die.
It's a skill. It's a skill. You just gotta lean and peak is an acquired skill. Yeah.
Or you just gotta wake up earlier.
Or wake up earlier. But I prefer the lean and peak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just get
so-
like a little hole.
I finally
all you
broke
need.
the scraper out. We have a scraper, but I forgot to put it in Gabby's car. But the other day, I think it was on Wednesday. No, yesterday was Wednesday. Monday, actually, I broke it out.
It has to be like ice for me to break the scraper out. Simply
Like when
because
we
I'm
had that
like,
snow.
I can stand out there and scrape and like for like 10 seconds and it'll be gone, or I can just sit in my car for like 2 minutes and she'll be gone. So those are my two options.
I don't have 2 minutes to spare.
Yeah.
It is very beneficial that I live like 3 minutes up the road.
Yeah,
So.
that's very true.
I mean, I left my house at 8:07 today, 7 minutes late
I
to
left
work,
my house at
and I still got here at like
6:15.
8:10.
3 minutes?
3 to 5 minutes is what it
What?
takes me to get here. Yeah,
That's incredible.
depends if I hit all the
I'm
stoplights.
so
I'm here in like
jelly.
3 minutes. But if I hit stoplights, it's like 5. The longest it's ever taken me to get to work is like 8 or 9.
If I hit all the stoplights, it takes me like 9 hours to get here. And if I miss them, it takes me like 8 hours and like 50
Now,
minutes.
here's an interesting thing. So there's a lot of people on my road that go to work at 8 a.m.
Okay.
So if I leave my house at 7:50, I hit the traffic. Okay, that traffic is cleared by like 7:55ish. So I have discovered that if I leave my house at 7:50, or if I leave my house at like 7:55, I get to work within like a minute of each other.
That makes sense.
So I just
I get
leave
that.
like later because then there's no traffic on my road.
What's the point in sitting in traffic?
Yeah,
Well,
because
you
I'll
know-
turn
you know, after-
like the
there
stoplight will be
sometime.
backed up to where my road meets the main road. It'll be backed up all the way to there.
Yeah, that like would be bad.
But by 7:55, it's clear. So it's like I can either get into the line and wait for 5 minutes to get to the stoplight, or I can just turn and it'll cost me like a
Interesting.
minute.
Do people usually go into work at 8?
7,
Yeah.
8, 9. Those are like the
7,
times.
9.
A lot of it is 8 to 5 because 9 to 5 is 8 hours, but then you take an hour lunch break. So when I worked my internship, I worked 8 to 5 with an hour lunch break, and I was like,
Oh,
"What
I
the
don't
heck?"
like that.
And then I realized it's because we were getting paid for 8 hours of work, and then they
I
just
hate
weren't
that.
factored the
I'll just
hour
work-
lunch break.
I'll just not take an hour lunch break, and
Yeah, I don't know if that was an option. I was an
Yeah, I think
intern. I
legally,
wasn't.
though,
I wasn't
that's
questioning the
make you
system. I was just showing up.
take it.
That is annoying.
Yeah, but some people have paid lunch, some people don't. Like when I worked at a church, we had paid lunch, and when I worked at not a church, we did not have paid lunch. So it was the same thing of like at the church, we showed up at 9 and we got off at 5, and then I changed organizations, and they were like, "Yeah, no, if you want to show up at 9, you got to work till 6."
Yeah.
It's like,
oh,
that math doesn't make sense. Oh, it does. It actually very much does. Yeah. But the nice thing, if you have that like 5 minute buffer, right, then there's your 2 minutes. If you're just trying to get in the car at 7:50 every day,
Yeah.
then if you got to defrost, you got
That's what I'm
5
saying.
free minutes.
Yeah. Well, it's also 7:50. Like I got plenty of time.
That's true.
That's what's nice. So I get up at 5:30. Luca gets up at like 6, and then I have like an hour and 50 minutes to play with him, give him breakfast, all that in the mornings. So I'm up in plenty of time. This morning, Liz started going to a workout class in the mornings, and this morning she had to stay after to like do some introduction thing with the trainer, and she had to stay there for like supposed to be 15 minutes, turned into 30 minutes. So she didn't walk back in from. So Luca got up at 6. Her workout class was 6:30. So she's supposed to be home at 7:15. She walked in at 7:50, and I'm still just like not dressed because if you take Luca into our room for me to get dressed, just clothes will be everywhere because he just opens all the drawers and pulls everything out. So it's just like, it's better to be late to work than to have Liz come home and be like, by the way, room's a mess, gotta go, see ya. So she walked in, I was like, I gotta change. She's like, well, I have to shower. I'm like, do you see the time, Liz? She showered, she won.
Man, kids.
Yep.
She showered. She won.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, it was one of those where I was like, Liz, look at the time. She's like, you should have gotten ready. I was like, I couldn't have done that. She's like, well, I'm a shower. And she walked in the room. I was like, dang, she won again. How do they do this?
Robbie, what's the town that you live in Alabama?
Birmingham.
Is
Beham.
that like the name of like your like the actual town you like live in?
I guess technically I live in Hoover, which
Hoover.
is like the vacuum,
Okay.
but we don't suck.
That's hilarious.
Birmingham's the capital, right?
It is not.
Not-
Montgomery's
the capital. That's right.
And people,
Man.
anyone who's been to Birmingham and anyone who's been to Montgomery would tell you.
That's how it works. That's how it works in a lot of states.
Like Birmingham is the actual capital?
Birmingham, I would say, I would be curious population numbers wise, and obviously I'm extremely biased, but I feel like there are way more people in Birmingham than there are in Montgomery. But
Google.
Montgomery has the history.
I feel like
so that's why.
people have heard of Birmingham. At least myself.
Where's
I've
Where's
heard of
Alabama?
Birmingham more
Like
than
the
Montgomery.
It's in the South.
no the college.
University of Alabama
Yeah.
is in
Is it?
Tuscaloosa, which
okay.
is 45 minutes. It's 45 minutes outside, like south of Birmingham. 45 minutes to an hour south of Birmingham, depending on how fast you drive. And then I don't know in like relation to Montgomery, because Montgomery is just straight south of Birmingham. It takes like 90 minutes to get to there. So I'm not sure if it's like a little perfect triangle or whatever, but
Gotcha.
yeah.
So Birmingham, Alabama has 197,000 people, and then let's look at Montgomery.
That's not bad. Probably less than y'all have here simply because of Liberty.
No, it's more than we have here by like 90,000 people. Montgomery has them by 1,000. 198,000 people.
wow.
So get wrecked.
Dude, Birmingham
Dinosaur hat.
sucks.
Yeah, dinosaur hat
Get-
with some kids.
Get wrecked. Well, Birmingham used to be much bigger. It has shrunk over the years from 1990 to 2020 to meet them, and now Huntsville, Alabama has passed both of them.
Rocket City,
Wait, Robbie, when did you move to Birmingham?
2010. I moved there for college.
When did it happen, Hunter? When did they start to lose everybody?
And it's been a decline since
They
1990.
left because of
It
Robbie.
was so funny if it was like starting in 2010.
Tuscaloosa has 100,000 people.
I heard this guy was coming. Yeah. That makes sense.
That's probably more. That's probably like Lynchburg, right?
That's pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah. Tuscaloosa's like
100,000.
pretty spread. I guess it would be. It really would be because like all the disc golf in Tuscaloosa, there's one course pretty close to campus, and then lots of the other courses are like 20 or 30 minutes away. But basically, Tuscaloosa is just the University of Alabama.
Yeah.
So
Do
what's
you
it?
like where you live?
I love Birmingham. Like I thought Birmingham really does have a like pretty thriving downtown. That has been nice.
Downtown! Right,
Like
Connor?
He's
there
right.
are a lot of options you can go to, and it just continues to grow because we had the World Games happen there a couple of years ago, so there was a bunch of money that got dumped into downtown for that. Like we have a Topgolf
Oh,
in
heck yeah.
Birmingham,
Nice.
and I feel like
I've
that's
never been.
that's a sign you're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is you have Topgolf in your town? Come on.
I always thought that it was really funny because like growing up in Charlotte or outside of in the cornfields outside of Charlotte, I never really I enjoyed living in Charlotte. I always liked it, but also it was the only thing I knew, so I didn't realize that there were places that didn't have everything, that didn't have every chain and every single thing you could imagine. And so I would always think it's really confusing because we also grew up going to New York every summer. So to me, I'm Charlotte's a small city, it's like a fake city, but New York is a real city. And then as I started getting to high school and into college, and I would go and meet people not from Charlotte and stuff like that, and I was starting to hear of all these people moving to Charlotte. I'm what made you decide to live here? It's just such a random place to me. And then we would go out of town and stuff like that, and they'd be like, "Where are you from?" We're like, "Oh, we're from Charlotte." And people would be like, "Oh, big city." I'm like, "What are they talking about?" And then I went to Liberty and realized that a lot of people think that Charlotte is a pretty hefty city. And now living in Lynchburg, I understand. Okay, after traveling around to a lot of places with Foundation, I realized that there are towns that are Charlotte does have a lot of stuff, and I did not realize that growing up.
To be fair, Charlotte is in the scheme of cities.
Yeah,
it is a small big city.
Yeah,
put it, I guess.
Yeah.
I was looking up. This can't be.
How many does Atlanta have?
I looked up New York City population, and it says 8.46 million. That feels big. Feels a lot.
Yeah.
Because
it
feels accurate.
But it just says New York population. But that also feels not a lot for the whole state. So I don't know. Los Angeles is 3.8 million.
My understanding.
I'm just trying to see New York City.
My understanding about the state of New York is that it is a large state, but there's a lot of just wilderness.
The New York metropolitan area is the most populous metropolitan statistic area. So that's the greater New York area with 20 million people. Charlotte had 800-some thousand people.
Yeah.
Charlotte, North Carolina has 879,000. Atlanta has 496,000 people.
Dang.
What?
That's kind of crazy. Well, yeah, Charlotte.
So it's twice as large.
It's
as
twice
Atlanta
as large as
people.
Atlanta.
Why is I think maybe Charlotte is just so built up and developed then because it's a huge business city. Charlotte is a business city. It's not there's cool restaurants and stuff there, but if you go downtown, it's all businesses. There's not a lot of cool trendy places. All the trendy places are outside of downtown, not in downtown a lot of other places.
I almost went to college in Charlotte. I almost went to Wingate University.
Yeah, Wingate. That's in Wingate, so not outside of Charlotte. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
what are some other cities that we would think would be close to Charlotte, size wise? Because Atlanta, that was very surprising. It was half as big.
See, I grew up thinking, why the heck is the capital of North Carolina Raleigh and not Charlotte?
Raleigh's
now I understand. Raleigh is pretty big.
Raleigh has 400,000 people.
Okay,
so they're half as big.
Oh.
But capitals are always history.
Yeah.
I feel
Charleston.
Wait, how much does Charlotte have again?
867,000.
Oh wait, how much did you say Atlanta had?
400-some thousand.
Oh my gosh! Whoa.
Yeah.
I heard that stat the wrong way.
Yeah, it's twice as big.
I did not realize that. Of Atlanta?
Yeah.
According to Google, yeah.
This is people wise.
That's crazy.
Charleston has 150,000 people.
Oh, what the heck?
Yeah, Charleston's not.
Charleston's really small.
When you go there, there's not a lot.
It's a small city, and it's a shopping city.
I ran
been there with you guys.
I ran a full lap around the main downtown area, and I got back to our hotel. I was like,
dang,
probably should run that again.
It feels so much bigger.
There's
we were in North Charlotte.
Yeah.
Charleston.
North Charleston, sorry, yeah.
I did that the whole time.
So there's I don't understand why.
There's
there's no point, unless you're doing a disc golf thing like we did, to go to Charleston and hang out in North Charleston.
No.
There's no reason to go there.
Well, when we said we were going to North Charleston, the amount of comments saying y'all are going to die.
Yeah.
Which is ludicrous.
No, South
people were
Charleston,
I was literally a judge.
I've never been anywhere where I feel like I'm gonna die.
No,
I've never been in a situation where in a city where I go down that street, I'm gonna die.
I'm not.
I've
really
been in a few I've been in a few. When I went to New York, for instance, we chose Easter weekend and then discovered while we were there as gang initiation weekend, and someone just got shot when they walked out of our hotel, because part of a gang initiation was to kill a random person.
Honestly,
so we went to leave our hotel and the front door was a crime scene, and they told us we had to go through a back alley to leave, and then we discovered
wow.
Yeah.
See, I've been to New York City,
and that we stayed a block off of Times Square, I think.
Yeah.
We were just right there in the midst of it. Someone just got shot right there.
closest I've ever felt to death
cities.
was Nashville, Tennessee.
See, that's a good one. That's a great option there.
Yeah. How many people we got?
Nashville
Disc golf in Nashville.
Nashville's a little smaller than Charlotte.
Okay.
Oh.
I did not realize that Charlotte was that big.
Yeah. You guys are huge.
What do you mean? You're from there.
I know. I didn't realize it was bigger than
Now,
Nashville and Atlanta.
If you go with like the Nashville metro area, but I haven't done the Charlotte metro area. Like Nashville metro area is 1.2 million.
Metro, like all the little
That's like
subdivisions?
like when you start adding in like.
okay.
So let's go
I
Charlotte
think Charlotte
metro.
gets bigger then.
That
Yeah,
makes
because then
sense.
you have- then you
I
have
bet if you go
Matthews,
Atlanta, I bet if you go
Trail.
Atlanta
Okay, so
Metro
it's
is
still twice
where,
as big as Nashville because
What-
it's 2.1 million for Charlotte. Let's go Atlanta.
Yeah,
A
'cause
lot of people
Atlanta
live
Metro
like
could actually like
because actually in the
quadruple
scheme of
size.
Charlotte,
Well, that's
few
what-
people live in Charlotte.
New York metro area was 20 million. So it's 10 times bigger than Charlotte.
Yeah, that's
which is twice as big as Atlanta. Well, we'll look at
What about
Atlanta.
Chicago.
It's a great option there. Atlanta metro area is 6 million. So Atlanta metro area is bigger than Charlotte.
Okay,
Big metro.
okay.
Big metro.
So a lot of
that
people
makes sense because I feel like in Atlanta, I'm just thinking even from the standpoint of like we lived 45 minutes to an hour outside of Atlanta, and I would still tell people I'm from Atlanta.
So Chicago and Charlotte are about the same size. The Chicago metro area is 8.8 million, and the Charlotte metro area was in the 8 millions.
That, however, a lot of people have moved to Charlotte like crazy in the past 10 years.
I
it's
bet
grown
more
like crazy.
Oh wait, no, I'm lying, completely lying. What did I just say? Chicago was 8 million. Charlotte was 2 million. Never mind.
Chicago's
I was gonna say, what the heck is happening?
Chicago's way bigger.
Chicago's way bigger.
What about Detroit?
That could be a great one. Detroit feels about the same in my head.
Yeah.
All right, a lot of people.
Detroit metro 4 million, so twice as big as Charlotte.
That's fun.
This is a fun game.
This is a fun game. Robbie, I want to know what it's like. Hoover, right? That's right.
Yeah.
What is it like in Hoover?
So Hoover's an odd one because the city is like massive. So, for instance, the city of Hoover is so large that my wife works at the Hoover Public Library.
Okay.
And it is so large that they have talked about a second library just to service Hoover on the opposite side of town. So we would have two public libraries in literally the same town.
Wow.
Just because, like, if you could drive 45 minutes and still be in Hoover, basically, if you went like edge to edge.
Okay.
It's got a lot of land and stuff, so it's not very dense. I would say like you have very rich parts of Hoover and you have very poor parts of Hoover.
Okay.
So it's not like Trevor was describing Forest to me yesterday while we were driving, and it was like Forest is like very up and coming. Land is getting more and more expensive in Forest. Like it's becoming a pricey place to live. Hoover has places like that, but most of it is pretty affordable. Okay. But you have Vestavia next door that is like rich.
Vestavia sounds wealthy.
Yeah, Vestavia Hills.
Hills.
Vestavia Hills.
Wow.
And then like Vestavia Hills. So I was a student minister that served all these areas, and when a lot of my discipleship group they were at Vestavia, and so I went to a game, and the student section literally chanted "You are poor" to other teams, like
Dang.
straight up as high schoolers, except one team, and they didn't say two, and is Mountain Brook.
Oh,
That is like so. There's a big populist thing like.
So was Mountain Brook chanting "You are poor" to them?
Correct.
Heck yeah, let's go Mountain Brook.
Yeah. But Hoover also like famously known for back in the day there was a TV show on MTV called 2-A-Days that talked about like it followed a high school football team, and that was Hoover High School.
Oh yeah, because that isn't like Birmingham like the most like. No, I'm thinking about Dallas. I think where they're like really crazy
Dallas
about high school football.
Yeah, Dallas. The Fresno area is like that.
When we went to Dallas and Brody was like showing us different high school football, like all of the high school football stadiums were bigger. Probably not all, but all the ones we saw were bigger than Liberty's football stadium.
Yeah,
for high school games. And Brody's like, yeah, they sell out. I was like, Liberty's never sold out a game.
I
and like your high school team, Like you're just going to watch your high school quarterback.
What is Dallas's?
So Dallas metro area is 7.76 million. So it's almost the size of Charlotte. But Dallas, everything's so far apart now. It's almost the size of Chicago is what I meant to say.
Okay.
Indianapolis is like the same size as Charlotte. The Indianapolis metro area was like the same size.
Tiny, yeah. My brother lives.
Oh, get wrecked, Konner.
My brother lives.
Tiny little city.
I'm not like.
You think your city's big?
Pride of
no,
Charlotte being big.
it's just tiny in terms of size. Like my brother lives in.
So it's like probably dense.
Like two.
population.
Yeah, he lives like 2 miles outside of downtown Indy, and we literally rode bird scooters from his. Like we walked out of his house, walked 2 blocks over. And we were close enough to downtown that bird scooters had been dropped off.
Yeah.
So we just scootered into downtown.
That's amazing.
$40.
Yeah. It did
Those things
get
go
expensive
fast,
real fast.
too.
Dude, you don't have a helmet on. You don't have anything, and I'm gonna sound so old when I said that.
Like
but
20 miles an hour.
Yeah, it flies.
Yeah. And
They're
you're like, I
fun,
hope I don't
dude.
hit a bump.
Basically, at Liberty, I was there whenever they decided to start to let bird scooters on campus, and so like obviously the company Bird put scooters all over campus and stuff. And the day that they were dropped off there, it was like anarchy on campus. It was crazy because there are no speed limiters or anything on them. So you could just get on them and rip 25 miles an hour. The fastest I went was I lived up on up in the back of campus across the road on a big hill. So going onto campus, you would go across a bridge and then a huge hill down to main campus. And I bombed that hill, and the fastest I went was 27 miles an hour down the hill on a bird scooter. And I'm just there with my book bag on, and I would die. I would literally die. And it's on a college campus where drivers are insane. I literally could have died in an instant. But there were so many people who were taking them down because Liberty is a super, super hilly campus. And so we've got massive grass hills and stuff like that. So many stairs. So people were taking them down the huge grass hills that are at a huge, a 45-degree angle. And we're taking them down the steps and all these things. And then the next day, they issued a thing that said that they were putting speed limiters on them and you couldn't go faster than 11 miles an hour.
It was smart. That was a smart move.
It was a very smart move, but it was insane. It was so crazy.
We used to, before I got injured longboarding, we would longboard the campus at Liberty during the summer because there would be no students. And some of those hills were
they're insane.
you could go up to the Askew lot up there, start up top, and then come down, and it connects around the dorms at East.
Yeah.
To come down to where Doc's Diner, Slim Chickens is now. I mean, talk about picking up some speed because there's no cars up there during the summer, so you were it was just wide open road.
If there was one though.
If there was one, no. Well, I mean, that's how I dislocated my shoulder, not at Liberty, but just because a car pulled out in front of me.
Oh my god!
And that's why I went to stop. Yeah.
Laid it down.
Imagine going down that hill by Snowflakes.
I never went all the way up there.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That would be.
That brings me anxiety.
That would be that could be close to one of those speed records. 'Cause that's where most of the speed records are in I think San Francisco, San Diego, one of those where it's very infamous hills.
Yeah.
We witnessed some of them, going up the mountains in California. That's where there'll be speed records. People, let me see the longboarding speed record. I want to say it's over 100 miles an hour.
It brings me anxiety because I grew up skateboarding, not longboarding, just skateboarding, and I enjoyed it a lot. But whenever my friends would be bombing hills and stuff like that, I would do the same thing. But I had to carve the whole time. I was the idea of just going straight and going as fast as possible.
On a longboard, it's a lot.
Board wobble scared me so much that I couldn't let myself.
91.17 miles is the world speed record.
Wow.
If you watch the video of that, it's crazy.
If you crash, you are.
sure.
Oh, he would there's a few times he fell onto his side and he just is on his butt just sliding. Because they would do it in the rain too sometimes. And
Yeah.
Because the rain was he was trying to get the longest slide. And so he would get up to 50, 60 miles an hour or something and then kick his board out and just try to hold it as long as he could. And when the board would push out, he'd just go on you're basically on your toes and then your hands have pucks on them and he would just slide on his feet. Just yeah. Wild stuff. I would not do it now. But no, you would, because if I was never phenomenal at sliding, I could put my hand down and kick my board out. I could not do the standing slide, which a lot of people are really good at, just go and you just kick out to control yourself. I couldn't do that, but I could put my hand down and slide. And so you were in control because if you got going too fast, you just put your hand down, kick the board out, and then you get the board back and you keep going. So if you got more going faster than you were comfortable, but my board, I had I think it was a Sector 9. I don't forget what they were. Remember what they were called?
Sector 8.
Sector 9.
It is Sector 9?
Pretty positive.
Okay.
Because there's a pool ball on it, and it's not an 8-ball. It's a yellow one.
All right, gotcha.
I
couldn't remember.
But I forget what they're called, but like a drop, where like the top of the trucks is on top of the board, and then the trucks drop through the board.
Yeah.
It like helps with speed wobble.
Mm-hmm.
So
because you're lower to the ground.
Yeah,
Right?
and so my board, like they always the trucks are always rated of like basically it won't speed wobble below like at a certain point. So mine was like once you got over 40 or 50 miles an hour is when like you might start getting speed wobble.
That's what they were rated for.
Yeah. So the fastest I ever saw was like 35 or 40, somewhere in that. I think it was 35, somewhere in that range. And that was on the hill that I dislocated my shoulder on. It was at Smith Mountain Lake, and it was like this entrance to a neighborhood, and it was like close to like a quarter of a mile hill, and we just started up top, and it was like a decent grade, but nothing crazy. And then there's just one big turn at the bottom. But why we loved that hill was like you got to the bottom and you're like cruising. You make this one little turn, and then it went uphill, so you didn't have to slide. So you could just bomb it, make this turn, go uphill, and then you were fine. Nice. So that's why Jimmy and I loved it. And we would just like hold a speedometer on our phone and then like tuck in as tight as we could and just see how fast we went. It was fun. A lot of fun.
So what do they do at 90 miles an hour? Are you wobbling? Is that dude
No,
wobbling
you
at
can
that
get
point?
I don't know what type of
You
trucks
just
he
got,
had or
like-
anything, but no, he wasn't wobbling.
That's crazy.
At 90 miles an hour, you're blacked out.
Yeah, he was just
Like, it
he was
is
just tucked in as small as he could with his hands behind his back and his head down, and he just like there's videos of it. There's a video of it on
I can't
YouTube.
imagine that.
Have you guys seen the video of the guy like breaking the speed record for like rollerblading? And he's behind like
he's
there's
like
like a
it's
truck
like a
and
trailer thing.
Yeah, there's like this trailer like windshield. that, like,
Yeah,
has, like,
I
a thing
did
for him
see
on.
that.
So he's just going as fast as he can in this windshield so that like he's not getting
Because they did
blasted
that
by the
on
wind.
ice too.
Yes.
That's what they
the
did for the
ice
speed
one.
skating
Okay.
record. It was the same
Yeah.
thing. They had like they were pulling this like big windshield thing,
That's
and he was just
terrifying.
like in there. Just
How do you get going that quick?
Well, they probably kind of hold on for a while.
I have no
really?
idea.
I don't know.
I have no clue.
Or it just
like-
takes a while to build up momentum, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's insane.
And their skates are like that long.
I know.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
insane.
They're like they seem like crazy long.
That seems
I've
so
never been
scary.
able to rollerblade better than just like
Just imagine you like torque
Put
your
it on
foot
and
a
go a
little
little
bit to the side,
Oh,
and you just explode all over the ground.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm a fiend at rollerblading.
Yeah.
That's I love to blade.
we just
I was-
didn't really like.
I haven't rollerbladed,
It's been
so
minute for
long.
me.
But whenever I was a kid, we would like that's what we did for fun. My parents would drive us to our elementary school, and we would just rollerblade all around the parking lot.
Because the only place to rollerblade here was like FunQuest,
Yeah, that's it.
and I
And
went
it
to
was
FunQuest
mid.
a few
It was
times,
alright.
but like
We had Kate skates.
Kate skates.
With
yeah.
sparkles.
Ooh.
Oh, that's a good name.
I don't know. Is FunQuest gone out of business?
No, they're
still there.
That barely probably.
Yeah.
With sparkles, and then in Birmingham we have Skates 280, whose slogan is "It's cool, it's shady, it's Skates 280."
Heck yeah! What a slogan.
FunQuest is like Chuck E. Cheese. Like you go there for your friend's birthday.
Yeah.
They've got like laser tag.
I took Gabby there for her birthday in college.
That's awesome.
Is when we went
Robbie,
roller-
were you like the backwards skating guy?
I do. I have my own rollerblades to this day. Like
Heck
if you, yeah,
That's dope. Can you
I
ice
did-
skate?
ice
I
skating's
guess they don't really
tougher
have
because.
skating in
Yeah,
Birmingham.
like the only way I would say to ice skate well, you kind of have to have hockey skates because the figure skates have the toe pick on the front, which you don't have obviously in rollerblading. And so what always threw me off was like if you're rollerblading, like you can do the whole like you're up or like your one's up and you're just riding like that. So that was like my most comfortable like tricking was just on one wheel front and back. And I remember the first time I tried to do that and I did not realize that the ice pick was there on the
ate
skates.
it.
And I just tried to like go up on one and it hits and it was like,
That's funny.
the other thing about like when you crash, like very similar, I'm guessing it feels like in longboarding is like when you mess up in rollerblading, yeah, you just kind of slide because they're usually smooth surfaces. I wasn't crazy, like I wasn't doing anything on concrete or all that, or at least not at like outside of skate parks. That's how I got so good. Is my brother was a skateboarder, and
you
so
were-
I like
We called you fruit booters.
Yeah, like the first pair of like blades that I ever got that was really nice. Like I even had like the grind rail insert, like low boots, smaller wheels, all that. It was awesome.
That's cool.
And so that's how I got used to it. So then when you're rollerblading at like a Sparkles or a Fun Zone,
Fun Quest.
Don't forget about skates.
Don't forget about skates.
You're just on a flat ground that's really smooth and great, and you're like, I can do anything I want out here.
And the wood like gives ice is the hardest substance in existence. Ice is why is it that ice hurts so bad?
Yeah. Well,
Because it's cold.
And then
It's
you're
so
wet.
dense. It also doesn't
That's
give
the worst part.
even a little bit at all.
Yeah, like you fall and you catch it, and then you stand up and you're like, I'm just soaking wet.
And cold.
Yeah, it's not a fun feeling.
No,
I did for a summer. I did roller hockey. Like I was like at Kate Skates. I was.
They had roller hockey
a
there.
roller hockey league.
That's what Fun Quest needs.
Yeah.
It was fun.
I wouldn't do it, but that would help them.
That sounds so fun.
It was really fun.
They have an adult like recreational ice hockey league in Birmingham because we have I don't know if it's like a AA, AAA. I'm not as familiar with the NHL's system, but we have a farm team, the Birmingham Bulls, and they have like a thing where you pay and you take 8 weeks and they teach you how to skate, and then you join like a hockey league. So it's like you learn how to play hockey, and then you're in this rec hockey league for X amount of time. So super cool investment, and I've always thought about it because
What if you end up getting picked up by the Birmingham Bulls?
I would never. You could not convince me to
We
play
just like
hockey.
That sounds terrifying.
we watched like out of nowhere 5 years from now, we haven't heard from Robbie in a while, and then we just turn on an NHL game and he's just the newest guy.
Yeah. Me at the Minnesota Wild. I started my hockey career at 31.
Hockey seems like a terrifying sport. I think I could just my body could just
fun.
get crumbled any second.
Yeah, I don't.
I wish
Hockey,
I started
rugby,
when I was young, man.
football, those aren't for me. I don't mind like I could see combat sports. Like I could understand like where we're just standing and we're just either wrestling or boxing. Where like I get that. I don't like the idea of like a full speed collision being just like a regular part of a sport. I've had too many concussions.
That's how I wrestle. So.
Yeah, there you go. I've had too many concussions in non-full speed collision contacts that you put me in football, I'm dead.
We had this guy at my high school who got too many concussions. He like lost his memory.
Oh my god!
That
How many?
makes
How
sense.
many was too many?
I think he had like 5.
I think it depends a lot on the severity of each one.
Yes.
Gabby's had 6 concussions.
Is she a soccer player?
No, she played basketball.
I'm at 3
She got a
right
lot of
now.
elbows to the head,
I got
and she does not have a very good memory.
the only one in basketball was I got headbutted by a dude. He was playing for Dayspring. They did not like us. We didn't really like them either. It was weird because their coach was really nice with our coach, but it was like one of those things where they were always the top of the league, and we always felt like we should have been. We never were. We sucked. We always felt like we should have been. And so when they came into town, we always played them early season, and it was like a prove yourself moment. So it always got chippy. And whether or not it was an intentional headbutt, I don't know. But he was guarding me very physically. And then I think it was after I went up for a layup. Yeah, I got headbutted hard enough that I got a concussion.
Did you?
So it almost had to be intentional.
Was it because you yelled at him that he was poor?
No, that was not
Okay.
it. Different game. You should have tried.
Yeah.
That was when I played for
Vestavia Hills?
Vestavia Hills. Yeah. No,
The travel team.
the basketball
I want a Vestavia
injuries.
Hills shirt.
I had the concussion, lot of sprained ankles. My ankles were awful, but now I don't think I have anything to hurt anymore. So I roll my ankles all the time, and they're great. Either that or my strength's just improved somehow without doing anything. I got kicked in the no square long enough to put me out for a week. I literally missed school the next day because I was so nauseous.
Oh my gosh.
That was from a New Covenant locally. They're much better
New
school
Covenant.
now, but back then they were
Trash.
filthy soccer team, and the soccer players also played basketball, and they were very dirty basketball players, not in a good way, like dirty
Showers
players.
didn't work.
And so, yeah, this dude went up, and it was very intentional. He went up for a layup, and I was like guarding him. And as he went up, he just threw the ball up and then just kicked midair. Ball didn't go close to the basket. Just kicked me straight in the manscaped area, and down I went. I was out of the game, and then like the next day I had to miss school, and then after that it was fine. Like I went back to school, but I was just bruised. Like it hurt to run. Everything hurt down there. It was awful. Wow.
Goodness.
I wonder if that's why we struggle to have kids.
Dude, I was having that conversation with someone like honestly a couple weeks ago, and it was like, how many times in like a high school locker room did people like cup check or do whatever, and then it's like, oh, that'd be so funny now. Then as grown adults, we're like, oh. That actually had a massive impact on my life.
That's what I'm saying, man. I'm at the point in my life where I'm looking back at all the stupid stuff that I did as a kid. I'm like, that has affected me in a negative way, and I'm starting to see it now. And I hate past Konner now. I'm just not going to stop me though. I'm going to keep on eating stuff because I think it's funny.
Amen.
The other 2 concussions were disc golf related, so that's why I'm like, you put me in football, what's gonna happen?
Yeah, basketball.
How'd you get what?
Last time I played
Got hit
basketball,
with a
I got
disc.
concussed.
We were doing a drill. We were throwing discs all in a line. So like all Liberty's teams here, and we were like trying to throw towards a basket, and the dude next to me just grip locked one,
Like
straight in the side of my
like
head.
a 90-degree grip lock.
Yeah, like
Oh
literally,
my
you're
gosh.
here, I'm here, we're throwing. I threw my shot, and I was standing here, and then I just got shot in the side of the head, basically.
Like craziest grip lock. of all
Yeah,
time.
it hurt.
Was he
very
good?
bad.
No,
He hit me in the side of the head when I was standing next to him. Silas, do you
Like,
think he was
this
good?
An accident?
he
Or?
wasn't.
It was definitely an accident.
He wasn't.
It was definitely an accident.
Hunter tried to concuss me yesterday during a video.
I did, not intentionally.
What?
That when he went Spike Heiser.
I went Spike Heiser, yeah. And then it almost hit Robbie and then squared up the basket.
Bump cap.
I told y'all if we had a catch cam, we'd have to put bump caps on everyone.
Hunter,
like-
can I tell a story about the guy that gave you a concussion, but without saying his name?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So this same guy, let's call him.
Call him
Bill.
Jack.
Let's call Jack. Sure.
I like Jack.
Yeah,
Jack
Jack
Frost.
Bill. Jack Bill.
Jack Bill.
So this guy, he was a wild card. He was very interesting. Not super good at disc golf, but according to the scorecards that he would send in, you would think that he was.
Oh, he's a cheater.
Pencil whipper.
You
Are we
remember
talking about
that?
the same guy?
Yeah.
Well, you finished telling the story.
Well, I think I probably spent more like time talking to him than you did because I was on the lower flights.
Okay. There was an infamous pencil whipper on higher flights.
No, he
But-
wasn't.
Is that what
he
you
wasn't,
call
He wasn't like a
cheaters?
tournament.
Pencil
He wasn't like a
whippers?
tournament.
No,
cheater.
tag match pencil
He-
whipper.
And
The
I'm
higher
not even
renowned
talking about
one
that. I'm
was
just talking
Trevor
about we
Stopp.
would get to a chorus and he'd be like, "Yeah, I shot
Oh, you're not saying.
7 under here the other day."
I
I'm like,
gotcha. You're not saying he like submitted tag match scores.
No.
Okay.
No, not like wasn't like a cheater, just like one of the guys that talked himself up.
He
and
like
be
played practice
I
rounds.
watch you play.
Threw 7 putts, counted the 7th one when it went in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or everything inside 25 feet. Well, I normally would make that. Pick it up.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
misses a putt and goes like, man,
wasn't trying.
I didn't wipe it off. If I
Yeah.
would have wiped it off, I was
Okay.
good.
I'm
That
gonna
makes
guess.
sense.
I'm gonna guess because we would get places and he'd be like, "Yeah, I shot this the other day." I'm like, "I literally have seen you play disc golf quite a bit, and I know you didn't do that." But we were at nationals, and this story is so crazy. It's a college trip. Like we go there on a Liberty bus, and we get to nationals, we get to the course. And we're out there practicing because we get there like a little bit early, and so all of our Liberty team is like all spread out over the course. We're all like different flights are playing together and stuff like that. And so we're playing through because I'm not on the same flight as him. I was a flight above him. No big deal.
Oh, you were better.
Rub it in.
No big deal. But
Trash.
so he just goes to throw, and he's just wearing like gym shorts, and on the tee pad, a freaking pistol falls out of his gym shorts pocket and lands on the tee pad. And we're all like, what did we say we were going to call him? Jack?
Jack,
And we're
Jack.
like,
Jack,
Jack, what the crap? And he was like, oh, sorry. And he just picks it up, shoves it back in his loose gym shorts pocket, and just keeps going. We're like, what just happened? And then we go. And so I go, because my best friend is like in the same hotel room as him. So I'm like hanging out in there because I want to hang out with my friend Caleb. And he's like, do you guys know where the safe is in here? And we're like, I don't know. Like, why? And he was like, well, I wanted to put my gun in here. I don't know. I don't know any of you guys. And and so he puts his gun in there, and then we notice like he gets into his bed, with a gun still on his side.
He brought multiple.
And he was like, well, and then
It's
we're
only
like,
funny because we're still here to tell the story.
yeah, and we're like,
Jack.
Good catch, good catch, good catch.
We're like, Jack, what the heck? You didn't put it in the safe? He was like, no, I put my other gun in the safe, but like, again, I don't know any of you guys. He gets in bed with a gun on him. He's sharing a bed with somebody.
Can you
Again, only funny because now I don't think he would have done anything, but it's just like sleeping with a gun strapped to your hips, just not
And
the best
just to be
safety
clear,
protocol.
for those of you that want to
You
crap,
roll over.
for those of you that
Whoa.
want to crap on liberty, be like, of course, conservative liberty school. No, you can't.
We weren't allowed to
You're
do
not
that,
allowed to
yeah.
do that. He was
Yeah.
breaking the rules.
Yeah, that was not allowed.
Yeah.
That was not allowed. We were also at a private park, so I'm sure there was other rules there.
Yeah, I don't know.
With the course you're at.
I
but-
just remember all of us standing around a gun falling out of his pocket and landed on the team and we're like, oh my God.
I was on a completely different course, and so I just like walk back because like college disc golf, most of the fun was the in between practice rounds, in between rounds, just like everyone get together and just have a lunch powwow, and like everyone tell you like
Here's all
what
the
went
putts
right,
I
what went
missed.
wrong. And like when you walk up, you can always tell if there's like a good story by the amount of just like nervous energy.
Yeah.
And so I walked up and it was just like everything was buzzing, and I'm like, what happened? Everyone just like starts whispering to you like, dude, Jack dropped a gun. I'm like, wait, what? Like you gotta have more context than that.
Yeah.
Like y'all tell coach, like no, like someone's gotta tell coach. I don't know if coach ever found out, but it was
honestly, I'll be.
trip went off without a hitch after that.
If you're
Yeah, it was
brave
all
enough,
good. It
was
if
all
you're
great.
brave enough to come on a college trip on a college bus, and you're brave enough to bring 2 guns, I'd be afraid to rat you out.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. It was great.
just
Well, I
like
think
he didn't know anyone.
He was
I don't know
an
that guy.
ex-military guy,
ex-military, yeah.
and so he was like always explaining, just like, you think I was about to go on a trip and not like that? I always
Yeah.
have a gun with me.
Yeah, that
Like,
was
what do you like? You think? And we were just like, oh, okay, all right, Jack.
I do
Go off,
think
King.
that, Jack.
All
I
right,
do
Jack.
think
You know, a lot of us don't have one, but hey,
that is one thing. Like culturally, I love seeing things that you are like, oh, that's completely normal, and then you go somewhere else and it's like,
Oh, yeah.
no, that's
Yeah.
just not it in the slightest. Like if I'm in Birmingham, Alabama, and I'm like, someone's like, oh yeah, I'm carrying right now. I'm like, yep, I would expect nothing less. If
you
I walk
and
into
everyone else in this store.
yeah, I walk into a Buffalo Wild Wings. Yeah, 90% of you have a firearm on you. Awesome. If I walk into a Buffalo Wild Wings in New York City, I do not expect that to be the case.
I think it's a lot of it's. Well, I don't know what's illegal in New York. I just remember I worked at a coffee shop, and one of the baristas there was a big like gun enthusiast. So he was just like always concealed carry. He was like one of the improved guys to conceal carry to like protect the shop. So he like always concealed carry. Went to the shooting range a lot, which was great. But he had a lot of like different ammunition that was completely legal. Everything's in the law in Virginia, not legal in New York. And his family was in New York. So he would always get super paranoid because like I forget what there was like all kinds of like fines. Some of it was like a felony if you had certain types of like ammunition in New York and stuff. So like I forget what all the laws were, but like when he was like going home for Christmas or something, was like going home to see family in New York, he would like take his car to get it detailed to make sure there was no like bullet casings or extra ammo like under a seat or somewhere that he didn't know. So he would like pay to get his car like fully detailed. So like if he happened to get pulled over, if whatever happened and then he got found with that on him, it's basically like he'd been smuggling drugs.
Yeah.
Basically is what it would be. So he was like that. I just remember that was always every time he was going home, he was like just in a panic because he's like, I got to get my car just like completely cleaned out.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, no, he abided by every law. He was a very, very responsible gun owner. Because, I mean, obviously there's a lot of not so.
True.
Especially when you're in the South. There's a lot of just rednecks, we'll call them.
Yeah.
But hey.
I'm with you, Robbie. I feel like that's something you realize like as you like grow up and start going other places that you're like my experience is not the same as everybody else's experience. Like
No, yeah.
the things that is normal to us.
Well, you can even see with like social media. Like,
Yeah.
we don't, Foundation, we're just playing disc golf, right? So we just like have fun. But like with the banter or with stuff, like we'll say something some point that like for instance, we talked about guns a lot in the last like 10 minutes, right? Willie probably said something in the last 10 minutes that someone from like a different state or different country or somewhere is just going to comment and be like, what are you like?
Yeah.
That is ludicrous. Like, but we all grew up.
Like England, they don't have guns.
I don't know if they have knives anymore.
Like they have batons.
Yeah.
That's
Louis batons.
Louis batons.
Louis.
Not even like they're police officers.
Yeah. Different rules everywhere.
Yeah, it's crazy, and people will continue to hurt each other.
Oh yeah, that is. I mean, you give people a frisbee, they'll find a way to make it a weapon.
Yeah,
but
I don't shame people for grip locks.
Actually, I can confirm frisbees can be weapons.
Yeah.
Not deadly. Maybe deadly.
I can too.
I can't confirm they can be deadly.
I got 10 stitches from one.
That's true. Konner can confirm worse than me.
Yeah, well, mine didn't have any lasting impacts, though. Concussion gives you more lasting impacts, I feel like.
I haven't noticed any lasting impacts.
Okay.
Yeah,
Welcome to the Banter, everyone.
Wait, why is that light blue?
my worst concussion came, we were playing catch in a pool, and I like jumped up. I've told this story before. Jumped up, and as I came down, I hit like the top of my head on the side of the pool.
You've not told that story. I hate that.
Oh,
gosh,
yeah. We were on a trip for a
story
disc golf tournament, and so that happened. I blacked out, and then like came to underwater, swam back up to the top. I was completely fine.
Wait, you blacked out underwater?
Oh, we were in a pool. Well, I blacked out, went underwater,
Fell underwater,
and
woke
then,
up.
Well, I never.
like-
I still was aware. I didn't pass out. It was like everything went
What do you
black.
mean? Oh my
Like I just
gosh.
blacked out.
I've never done that. That's scary.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, same.
What the heck?
And so I was like fully aware of everything.
I was
So I
like,
knew
did I
I was
just go
underwater.
blind?
And so then it just like my vision
what I
came
would
back.
think, you know?
I swam up, kept playing catch. Like my head hurt, but it wasn't a big deal. And nothing, I didn't have symptoms. I didn't throw up. I didn't have a headache, none of that. And so I just went, took my shower after. We were getting ready to go to bed because we had tournament in the morning. And after the shower, I walk up to brush my teeth and I look in the mirror and my right pupil is like fully dilated. My left pupil isn't. So like one pupil's just wide open, the other's not. I was like, that's concerning. And so then I started being like, well, I did get hit in the head pretty hard. I did kind of black out after. So I called my sister, who at that time was just an EMT. She might have been a doctor by then. I don't know. And I explained it to her, and I was like, and then when I went to she's like, okay, well, like, are you all this? I'm like, well, no, I don't have any of like your freak out symptoms. I was like, but one pupil is way bigger than the other. She's like, just call 911. They'll send out an ambulance. They can check you out because I can't see you. And she's like, and then if you refuse service, I don't know if this is the rule everywhere, but if you refuse service, if you don't ride with them to the hospital, with insurance, you won't even be charged. So basically, they'll come, they can just look at you, and then if they say you need to go to the hospital, just get in the ambulance, go to the hospital, and pay it. If they don't, you're fine. So I sat down and like waited for them, and they came to our hotel room, and then they were like, you're probably okay, but I'd go to the hospital if I were you. I was like, all right. And so I told everyone, I was like, I'll just text you guys when I'm ready to come home, and y'all pick me up at the hospital. And they're like, all right, sick. So they just like stayed up and played poker. And I went to the hospital, got a CAT scan, all of that. And a nurse practitioner saw me at the hospital. And my CAT scan, everything was fine. And I told her, I was like, well, I have a disc golf tournament in the morning. Can I play? And she was like, yeah, like it's not an impact sport. Not your cardio won't be high, anything like that. I'm like, no. Like it was just throwing frisbees. She's like, yeah, you should be fine to play. Just like take it easy after that. Okay. So I went, played the tournament the next day, cashed an MA1.
Oh,
yeah, come on, big hunt.
And then afterwards, I was like, guys, I probably shouldn't drive home because we were 2.5 hours away from home. And I like felt very out of it after that tournament. I was like, probably shouldn't drive home. Can someone else drive home? So the other dude drove home. And when we got like 30 minutes away, he got pulled over for speeding, got a speeding ticket, and then he like kind of went hysterical, like crying because he never had a speeding ticket. He thought it was the end of his life. And so he's like, I'm not driving home anymore. I'm not driving. And so he's pulled over on the side of the road.
Just like pay for that.
And then the other two guys were like, well, I'm not driving. I was like, guys, you realize I have a concussion. Like, you want me behind the wheel? They're like, yeah, that's fine. So I drove the 30 minutes home after that because they didn't want to drive. And then...
what? Just drive.
Yeah, we were literally 30 minutes away from home. So got us home safe.
say.
Got us home safe. And then I like went about, when you have a concussion, like you don't watch TV, stuff like that. Waited like a week. Symptoms didn't really get better. Still like really out of it, dizzy, headache. Went to the doctor at home and like explained everything to him. And he was like, okay, why are you seeing me now a week later? And I was like, one pupil's still bigger than the other. And he goes, now you're interesting. And then he paid way more attention to me and then sent me to an optometrist who like checked my nerve endings and everything in there. And the conclusion they came to was that one pupil has just always been bigger than the other for my whole life.
Oh.
That was their conclusion. Because they did like every test they could. I had multiple like MRI, CAT scans, all this stuff. Everything was normal up top.
And you just never noticed it?
Well, because it went down. Like it's still, if I look in the mirror close enough, like one is still bigger than the other. And that was years ago. And they said like the only way you could tell, because like at this point it had went down substantially. And they were like, if you get like a kindergarten picture, you might be able to see like, was it always like that? They're like, but everything's intact. Everything operates as it should. So now just your normal concussion protocol, like, you know, stay out of light as much as you can. You can listen to like podcasts and stuff to pass your time. Don't do mentally stimulating activities, blah, blah, blah. This is like the beginning of Christmas break. So the whole Christmas break for a month straight, I basically just laid in a dark room and just listened to podcasts and stuff. And then like by week 3 or 4, I like watching TV didn't give me a headache and I was back to normal. And then by like mid-January, I was back doing cardio and back to my normal life.
I just can't believe, like, I've never blacked out, passed out, whatever.
Same. I kind of want to.
Your head, your vision just goes black.
Yeah.
I would have freaked out.
Yeah.
I would have like yelled.
I've blacked out a few
I
times.
was dying.
I've blacked out because like I've blacked out on a roller coaster before, where like it just like slowly. I mean, there's a roller coaster at King's Dominion. That there's this one corner.
Car one?
I think it might be.
It just goes basically straight up and then straight down, and it does a little.
I don't know. There's like one turn on it that everyone like you'll start to get tunnel vision.
Okay.
You can black out.
I've gotten tunnel vision.
You pull enough G's on that, and so it's like you try to like fight it. It's very fun. I blacked out on it. It's just like fully, but like I've never passed out. I've never passed out.
Okay.
I've just blacked out.
I've never blacked out or passed out, and I think that sounds like fun. I'd like to try it.
No, that sounds so scary.
Y'all, if y'all ever like, this doesn't happen super frequently. If it did, I know I'd have a medical problem before all the doctors comment. But like, have y'all ever like stood up way too fast?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you start to get tunnel vision a little bit, and it goes away.
You get like lightheaded from the like. Ooh.
Yeah, like if you're, I think like iron can be a cause. Like a low sodium can be a cause sometimes.
Actually, last week I have no idea what it was. Maybe I was just dehydrated or something. But I got home and I like felt kind of weird. And it was actually after we were spending a lot of time in the hospital, so it was probably because maybe stress too. But like I stood up, like I just bent over to take my like shoe off or something, and stood back up, and it was like the first time in my life where I was like, I think I might pass out. I thought for sure that night I was gonna pass out at some point, but I never did.
Yeah, like it doesn't happen super frequently, but yeah, like if you're get out of bed too quick, you like sit up real quick. Sometimes you'd be like, ooh,
yeah,
ooh. Like,
so it's just like that, and then everything kind of just goes black.
It's the same. Yeah, like I mean that doesn't happen when I stand up, but that's what blacking out is, or at least every time I blacked out is like that little tunnel vision. It just fully closes and then you just open back up.
Oh, right.
I wonder why your body does that. I wonder if it's like some kind of defense mechanism to like you need to like maybe like something about you are keeping yourself from getting the proper amount of oxygen or something. So it's like let me black out so body can go into autopilot and then wake back up.
Yeah, my guess is that the blood is just like not like you've stood up and blood's not getting up there fast enough, so everything kind of like shuts down for a second to redirect the blood. Like they shut those processes
because I know like
other stuff.
Sodium, I think iron's the other one because there's like some like medical things where if you have deficiencies you'll black out like every time you stand up. Well, not fully black out, but you'll get that tunnel vision like every time. But I think it's tied a lot to like your sodium level and iron. But I think it's a lot of like hydration.
I just thought like, what if I made a YouTube video where I was like, I made myself black out and I just like didn't eat or drink anything for like all day, and I just like laid down on the ground, like jumped up really quick, and laid down on the ground and like jumped up really quick, just like trying to get myself to black out.
That sounds like old Konner. That's Konner eating the bar of soap for sure. Sure.
So this is saying if you're like when you stand up, it can be from low blood pressure. So I guess that's where like that stuff can help blood pressure maybe.
Yeah. The only time that I've ever gotten a concussion was the last time that I played basketball, And because of that, I've never played basketball again. And it's a great excuse to not have to. I was playing at summer camp, and it was the most horrific, like, summer camp for injury ever. So you drive on Monday, you have 3 full days of camp, and then you drive home on Friday. Like, that's summer camp. And we were at a very large youth group, so I was one of 5 youth members on staff. I'm the middle school pastor, but it was high school camp, which was great because that means I just get to be the fun games guy.
Yeah.
Like, that's my role there. And I know my students because they were with me, and now they're in high school and they're way too cool, whatever. So we get there Monday. We run this like makeshift basketball tournament because it was really big, like generational thing. So on Monday, dude's playing basketball, jumps up, lands wrong, tears his ACL, like just gone. And he's like writhing in pain. Oh no. And we're like, man, that's a bummer for you. Like, oof, tough look, bro. So then we on the staff team, we make it. And I have 2 people on my team, like 2 of the staff guys, really good. I'm so bad at basketball, but I'm tall and I like to jump. So Ultimate Frisbee days, I'm just like, I'm the rebound guy. Like, give me the ball. I'm just going to feed it right back to you. And I will aggressively go for every single rebound possible. So I go up for a rebound, and one of our seniors just takes me out at the legs while I'm up there, and I just fall head straight to the ground, and like I could like feel my head bounce off of the ground, and I'm like, whoa, but I don't want to draw any attention there, so I'm like, I'm good, and everyone's like, no, I don't think you're good. No, guys, let's keep playing. Like, I'm good. And apparently I like stood at the top of the key, and a guy goes to pass me, and I was like, oh, I'm sticking with him. And apparently I said that out loud, but just stood still. And I was like, I'm sticking with him. And he just ran right past me. And they were like, yeah, Robbie, I think you're done. And I was like, huh? What are you talking about? And they were like, do you realize he's like back there now? And I was like, oh no. Yeah. So I end up going to the like emergency room, get tested, and they're like, yeah, you are definitely concussed. The problem is at like big church camp, the production is so big for
the
worship.
LED lights and screens.
And so I'm like, yeah, it's not going to be that bad. Like, I'll just go sit in the back of this dark room. I'm fine. And so I walk in there, and it's like kind of chill or whatever. And then we, for sound check, turn the lights out, and then boom, all the LEDs turn on.
Staring into your eyes.
And I was like, can't do this, and like instantly run to the bathroom and just throw up. Like, oh no. So then I go back to my hotel room and have to watch like from a distance, and because we live stream for like all the parents and everything. So that's that. The next day, so ACL Tuesday, I get a concussion Wednesday. The next day we take our kids to a water park, and the same senior that took my legs out, he is on a like 2-man raft with another guy, and they were like, you know, if we like really swing ourselves, we can get this going. So you have 2 like fully stacked like 185-pound senior, all muscle, and they're doing this like water slide. They swing it so hard they flip the water slide, and the other guy,
they flip the raft thing.
Yeah, flips the raft. So the other guy falls straight out of it inside the water slide on his head, and he gets a concussion.
Oh
as
my
well.
gosh.
And so we'll call the criminal here like Taylor. And it was like, everybody just stay away from Taylor.
Dang.
Because he is just
Taylor
killing
Taylor
all
had a
of us.
stat line there.
Yeah. So
That's hilarious.
There we go. What sound do we want to end it off with?
What do you got, Robbie?
Let's go with what sound you think would be associated with blacking out.
Okay. Oh, I got it.
I like that. That's kind of where my mind was going.
Okay.
Mine was like a.
Yeah, I like that.
That was
I like the way you
good.
filtered
Yeah.
down like that.
I'm gonna go. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna have to explain this afterwards.
boy.
But here we go.
I can't wait.
Bosh! HBO. Like any show you've ever seen on HBO. It's like the it's this big black screen with like a white light and then
That makes sense. Wow, phenomenal ending to the episode there.
Yeah, it's
Do you wanna roll
wonderful.
the dice?
You want to roll the die?
Oh, yeah. I haven't been on here since the first Dice episode, other than the time I played Konner.
Chris. This is something as a long-time listener, first-time dice.
I feel like we need
viewer,
gloves when we roll.
I feel like Robbie gets to roll here first.
Okay.
Here we go.
But it is pressure.
Keep it on the table.
'cause, as a long-time listener, I'm just not ready for how much this thing's gonna roll.
Jason.
Oh, Jason.
Gotta get my fellow bard.
Trevor.
Jason and Trevor.
Jason Trevor.
All right, cool.
Wow,
There you go.
fresh new cast.